What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into X-Men's Excalibur, issue number 25. If you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. Now, what we have seen so far is Morgan Le Fay return. With her return, she is working with Merlin. Merlin having King Arthur under his command. They have taken King Arthur, all of his forces, along with some Furies, and they have made a full-on attack against the Citadel in Otherworld. And so, with the Captain Britain Corps doing everything they can to hold off this attack, Excalibur is going to have to work extra hard to defend the Citadel, to defend Saturnyne, and to be able to keep Mutantkind's foothold inside of Otherworld. And so, with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Betsy sitting down with Tom Lennox of Strike. And while they're having a conversation, she can't help but have her mind elsewhere. Have her mind thinking about the battle that transpired just recently. Them fighting off the Furies, them fighting off all of Arthur's forces, at least until it came to a standstill. But Tom is really trying to convey to her that he's having such a hard time coming to terms with everything that has happened to him. And he lets her know that Allison, Kevin, Vicky, and himself, they are all still going to be Strike. They're just going to be using Strike in a much different aspect. They're going to be trying to take Britain back. And that's because they are mutants. And when you are a mutant in the UK right now is just not tolerant of mutantkind. They have put essentially an entire embargo against mutantkind, against Krakoa. This is the beginning stages of a war between humankind and mutantkind, at least for the UK. Now, Tom immediately recognizes that she's distracted, and she tries to apologize, but she also lets Tom and everybody else know that their job is going to be on this front. Right now, she is Captain Britain, and no matter how much Captain Britain would love to be there helping Strike out, she has other concerns in Otherworld where they are trying to rid mutantkind from Otherworld completely. And so while the UK may be doing the same thing, Otherworld is on a whole different level, on a whole different scale, because King Arthur is literally laying siege to the Starlight Citadel right now. And what she really wants to do is end this reign that King Arthur has over Camelot, that Merlin and Morgan Le Fay are doing. Because Camelot once used to be a place for everybody to come, a place for the misfits, a place for the unwanted. But ever since all of this started happening, Camelot has started to exclude anybody they deem not worthy of it. And with them joining forces with Furies and other individuals, it's not looking good for mutantkind. It's not looking good for the Starlight Citadel. Now, that's what takes us to Camelot, at the Castle of Avalon. And we have the entirety of the Braddock family. We have King Jaime, we have Captain Avalon, we got Meg, we got everybody here. And what they're doing right now is going over their next battle strategy. Because as it stands, the Captain Britain Corps, they are surrounding the Citadel and they are keeping it protected. Meanwhile, we have King Arthur currently building up weapons, building up siege weapons, and getting ready to make their frontal assault. And so right now, there is no battling, there is no fighting just of yet. Everybody has retreated to their corners and they are preparing for their next round. They are preparing for that next strike. Now, Captain Britain, she wants to go in and try to make an attack while they are busy building up all of these siege and defensive weapons. And so as they do this, of course, Captain Avalon, a bunch of other individuals, they vote that they're gonna go in and do this. But they want to keep King Jaime back here. Being a reality warper, he is going to be the last line of defense. And if they fail, If King Arthur is able to break through the lines, his job is to get the children, to get Saturnyne and get them out of there. And that whatever the stakes, whatever the cost, they cannot let King Arthur into the Krakoan gates. Now, they're not mutants per se, but with Merlin's magic, Betsy has no illusion that he will be able to make his way into Krakoa, to go through those portals. And once that happens, it would be absolute pandemonium. With the mutants caught off guard, it could be one of the worst massacres to ever take place. But Maggie, she continues on with the strategic aspects of this battle that's about to happen. With them reaching out to the fairies, to the grass, to the elements, trying to figure out what is going on, everything is reporting back that Merlin is preparing some kind of spell. He is doing this day and night. Everything can feel it. Everyone is holding back until that moment, until that spell is cast. And so the only thing she can really offer in the terms of strategy is to move as quickly as possible, to get in there, strike as hard as you can, because if he casts that spell, everything is going to go sideways. And that's what takes us to the Starlight Citadel. Sitting just outside of it, King Arthur and his forces, they are preparing their siege. They are getting everything ready to make their attack, testing all the vulnerabilities in the entire Starlight Citadel. They are trying to find the weakest spot where they can attack. Now, they have an opportunity to attack right now, but that's simply not going to happen, because right now Merlin is casting his spell, and so everything that they have needs to be right here protecting Merlin until his spell has become complete. But as they sit here and make their preparations, this is where we see the priestess from the Starlight Citadel come descending down upon them. Alongside them, we have Team Excalibur right there with them. Not only that, we have the Captain Britain Corps making their arrival as well. And so we see the battle break out. The priestess making their attack, Bay the Blood Moon and Shatterstar doing their best to make sure they stay alive. And as the Captain Britain Corps comes down, we see these siege weapons are being used not in a defensive manner, not against the Starlight Citadel. These siege weapons are being turned inwards, and they are being used directly on the Captain Britons. This was all a ploy to try to bring them in, use the siege weapons against the Captain Britons, and dwindle their numbers as quickly as possible. With Betsy recognizing that this is happening, she tells the entirety of the Corps that they need to disperse, that they will regroup once their weapons have finally been spent, because right now they are targeting just the Captain Britons. Now, without the Captain Britons, they believe that the Citadel will be taken in no time. But Betsy knows that Merlin is planning something, and they have to have some numbers to be able to fight off whatever is going to happen. And so she tells the Captain Britons to go, all of them retreating back to the Citadel. And this is when Merlin, he finally completes his spell. And what we see is a giant green glow going around the Starlight Citadel. And what he used was anti-magic. This bringing down every single one of Saturnyne's defenses that she has put up in the Starlight Citadel, with everybody rushing to get into the doorway of the Starlight Citadel where they will hold their last stand. The forces of Arthur are making their way up. And with Team Excalibur inside, they are all preparing for what is about to happen. With King Arthur's men breaking down the door, they are doing everything they can to hold off these forces. But with that anti-magic going up, the Britain Corps has lost power. The Starlight Citadel has no more magic. And so everyone is wondering where Betsy is. With Excalibur trying to hold off these forces, this is when Betsy communicates to them and lets them know that they need to get out of here. To get Excalibur and go rescue everyone. Go rescue Saturnyne and get her out of here, because if she is captured by Merlin, everything will be for naught. We may not like her, we may not be the biggest fans of her, but having her on the throne versus Merlin on the throne is a vastly different world. And so their attempts to hold them off, the blockade that they had, it doesn't last long. Their lines are breaking left and right. Arthur has made his way into the Citadel, but as all the forces go ransacking all of the rooms, going up the staircases. This is where we see Betsy. Betsy makes her arrival behind King Arthur, letting him know that she doesn't need the power of Saturnine or any of this magic. She doesn't need the power of Captain Britain to beat him. Because at the end of the day, before she was Captain Britain, she was a very powerful mutant. She is a very powerful mutant. And we see her go in on him. He makes a swing. She uses her powers by touching his head. And she lets him know that she will not allow him to take Avalon in hate, trying to make him understand that he will die before that happens. Now, while she is doing this, the Team Excalibur, they have gone up to grab Saturnine, who has been meditating inside of a bath. They get her out, and they go to make their escape as quickly as they possibly can, with Arthur's forces right on their tail. This is where Shogo comes in. This is where King Jaime comes in, clearing a path, letting Team Excalibur hop onto the back of the dragon. Meanwhile, Betsy is currently letting King Arthur know that he has a son out there. His bastard son Mordred is out there. Not only is he out there, but he is also a mutant. So if you are going to kill mutantkind, the last safe havens for a place like your son to be, you will also be killing your son. Letting him know that if you decide to move forward, she will duel him 100 times, 1,000 times. She will do whatever it takes to ensure her kind's survival, telling him to think about that before your next advance, because he is right to be afraid of their kind. They have become too wise for tyrants like him, and soon he will have nowhere left to go. And with Betsy leaving King Arthur there on the ground, she goes looking for Saturnine. Looking up to the sky, we see King Jaime just throw her off. Throw Saturnine right off the dragon. Betsy goes running, trying to catch her, grabs her just in time outside of the anti-magic barrier. This gives Betsy her power as Captain Britain back, and now Saturnine has her magic as well. And so the plan is to get Saturnine and get Excalibur back to Avalon. They may give up the Citadel, they may give up the throne temporarily, but this is not going to last long, and they will be putting Saturnine back in that seat. And as a last defensive measure, what we see is King Jaime and our dragon really just burn through reality. They carved a trench inside of reality itself, and King Jaime, he is currently holding this in place. This will stop Merlin and his forces from being able to enter into Avalon until they can find some kind of good defensive measures. But that doesn't stop Merlin from using his powers and creating some kind of wormhole, some kind of portal that both Saturnine and Betsy fall into. As they go falling into this shining brightness, they land and find themselves in the Sea of Secrets. And with Betsy waking up, Saturnine is glad to see that she is okay, glad to see that she is awake, lets her know that she has been here before, they are going to be here for a very long time, so she thinks it's right that she finally tells the story of how she dethroned Merlin, and that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We've seen a lot happen in this one. Merlin finally successfully takes over the Starlight Citadel, sending all of the forces of Saturnine running to Avalon. We have Betsy and Saturnine landing in the Sea of Secrets, and it appears she has been keeping a secret for quite some time, and that is how she originally got the throne to begin with, believing that it is going to have some kind of ramifications on what happens next. Now, of course, whatever she did to trick Merlin to get the throne, to take the seat of power from him, that's obviously not going to work again. But whatever she did do, it had some kind of effectiveness. And so they could attempt something along similar lines, making him believe that's what they will be doing, while in the background also working to actively dethrone him in other manners. But with Merlin having control of the Starlight Citadel, it will give him the ability and the power to start getting rid of all of mutantkind from Otherworld. This is going to have huge ramifications, and we're gonna see it really affect all aspects, all four corners of the world. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.